Welcome back to another episode of the Gathering Place podcast. I am Joe Seaman, a real estate agent here in Augusta, Georgia, Aiken, South Carolina, accompanied by my lovely bride, Hope
Hello.
Seaman.
And what episode are we on?
13.
13?
But we're eventually going to lose count.
Yeah,
what
probably.
Episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
I told Drew I had to get him one of them things, that chopper things. That
I can't remember
directors,
what that was called.
Film clap.
We need a film
We're going to
clap.
get a film clap. So
I just wanted.
And they're telling me that we've got to get a countdown timer on the wall because I like to go down a rabbit trail after we get started.
And because apparently y'all can tell whenever, Drew gives us the signal that says it's time to cut off. Apparently y'all can tell that, but that's okay. Hey, we're keeping it real.
That's right. So,
all right.
You were responsible for
Yes.
coming up with our topics to talk about. So
Okay, well, because I got to tell you why. Because I just got a little clip showed to me of a story that I didn't even know about that happened. So rewind a little bit. A couple weeks ago, we decided to go to the lake. To Joe's parents have a place at the lake, and he was like, "Hey." He woke up that Friday morning, which I found to be very unusual. Not that he woke up, but that he woke up that Friday morning and said, "Absolutely don't talk to me about real estate today." And I'm
because
like,
I needed a break.
okay, but that never happens.
I needed a break.
That
like a
never
true break.
happens. And so I was a little like, but I have to I got a little bit of an attitude.
You did.
I got a little bit of an attitude because I thought.
In fact, I think I was sitting at our kitchen table. You were at our kitchen island.
Yes.
And you were trying to ask me questions.
It was
and I'm like, I'm not answering questions. And then I think you stormed out of the kitchen.
I sure did. I was so mad because, honestly, I'm not used to that. You don't usually get that, but you'd had enough, right? So you'd had enough that week. So you were like, we're going to the lake. And here's the other thing. When we go to visit his mom and dad at the lake, I get there first. He doesn't get there till 8, 9 o'clock, sometimes 9:30, and he never beats me there. He left. You packed, went and got Mimi's boat.
I was gone.
And left, and we're at the house how long before Kessler and I got there?
A while.
Yes.
I was so ready to get away.
So I knew right then, like something, anyway. So I rolled with it. And one thing that we have been trying to do recently is put more healthy boundaries in our work atmosphere. Although before this, Joe hadn't done that very well. So this was like very shocking for me.
And very immediate.
Very immediate. I was like, okay. And so before this, let's rewind even more.
I was going to go into that.
Okay, we'll go into that.
It's not very often that kind of thing happens.
Yes.
But just 2 weeks ago, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, like I just needed a mental break because even though like you're hearing these swirls around, bad economy and recession and high interest rates and low inventory and all this and that, we still as a team have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
We still have clients coming out of our ears.
Right.
And which is a great thing. And I love what I do. Like I'm extremely passionate about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like very passionate.
Extremely passionate.
Yes, I love what I do, and I'm very, very passionate about what I do in selling real estate. But from time to time, like typically I work 7 days a week. And so, from time to time, you just need that mental break. Mm-hmm. And I had just woke up that Friday morning and set the intention that I was going to have I needed a mental break.
You did need it.
Yeah.
Forewarn me next time, but anyway, that's okay.
All right.
There was
I'll
that.
put it on the calendar.
Put it on the calendar. You say everything has to go on the calendar.
Everything has to go on the calendar. But that weekend, I needed a break.
Yeah.
And we just had a lot going on. And so I did wake up that Friday and was like, hey, we're going to the lake this weekend.
And we did.
And I just didn't want to talk real estate. Like, as long as there was nothing like going to burn down or no one was going to die or anything like that, if we didn't get it to them, I really didn't want to talk real estate stuff because that's the other thing with us being married and working the business. And I love you, Hope.
I love you too.
And so, there is just, it's a lot of work talk.
Yes.
Like we talk about work.
We do.
Even when we go on date night on Wednesday nights, like we typically end up talking about work, and just sometimes
becomes the
center of
our conversation.
And it's not really fair. you know.
It's not fair. Yeah.
It's not really fair. And so there are time to time that we just need a mental, I just, you know, I can speak for myself. I just needed a mental break 2 or 3 weekends ago. I feel another one coming on. Just to
Me too.
forewarn, I feel another one coming on
Glad
soon.
I got the forewarning. Thank you.
I'm kidding.
Have everything in mind buttoned up. You can do that
But-
this weekend because I actually have everything buttoned up
Yeah.
right now, so we can do that.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah, I just kind of took off, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I didn't
But-
do a ton of real estate work.
Right.
I did have a few little things come in. We take care of them, but for the most part, kind of took off.
Well, we had even further back. There was a sermon series at church, and it just happened to be one Sunday morning. You were in the living room. I think I was in our room, but we were both listening on different TVs, and the same thing resonated with us. And that was
Let's back up and tell what really happened.
I don't remember.
So I get up a lot earlier than everybody
yes.
does in our house.
So what? So what?
Especially on the weekends.
I go to bed a lot later than everybody else in the house, so there's that.
So, what had happened was I probably watched it earlier than you did, like at 9 o'clock.
That's not true. We were watching it together because you were in the living room and I was in our room. Like I remember that simultaneously.
Okay.
It was a very defining moment for me and my thought pattern, and it resonated with you too. Because shortly after it, you made the lake situation come along, and it was about your kids and how much time you have with them. And those of you that don't know, over our marriage, we have had 5 boys come through our home, live with us at some point or another. 3 of those being our children and 2 of them being international students. And the oldest currently is 24 years old and are about to be 24 in November.
Almost.
I'm making him a little bit older. Sorry, Keith. And then our babies are 14-year-old twins. And in the middle of that was Price and Bill, and they're 23 and 22. So we know what it's like to be busy. We know all of that, right? We know what it's like to be parents and just try to juggle those schedules. But this particular sermon series told both of us. I remember a lot from that one, but I distinctly remember you have 18 summers with your children. 18.
Which is not a lot.
Which I mean, like I knew that. I knew because our kids are older now, and then some of them are married. I knew it flew by, but I didn't realize
How
the
quick.
18
Yeah,
is
18.
18 summers. So
Just in my brain, you know how I relate
Yeah.
everything back to real estate.
yes,
I
you
show
do.
18 houses in a week.
Okay,
Like 18 summers. It really kind of put in perspective
Mm-hmm.
just how short of time
that time span is
we have with our kids, and you know, to really kind of cherish those times you can get together. And one thing that with us being so busy, because we're both very busy and we're busy parents, like we try to be very involved in our kids' lives and
Yes.
their stuff that they do, but being busy in work, like I think you and I actually differ in this a little bit. I don't believe in a work-life balance. I believe you put a lot of focus on your work, you get it done, or, you know, able just to work on that kind of stuff. But then when you are with your family, you like try to focus on them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think that, well, I'll be honest, I think for you, that's something that you can do. For me, I don't think that's something that I can do because of what I do. And as far as the boys and just the ebb and flow of the business, I think it gives you the opportunity to do all in whatever you need to do because you know I'm going to be able to take whatever needs to be done behind the scenes so you can focus on that. So there are times that I don't get to turn that off because he's in front of me for like the first time the whole entire day and I need a question answered, right? So
I think we actually discussed
we
that
discussed
earlier
that
today.
earlier today too.
that
And it's
when I get home at 6, 7,
Yes.
8, 9 o'clock at night, Hope does our transaction paperwork. Like she makes sure all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and everybody's signature is where it's supposed to be and all that. And so she's got the fun part of the job. I'm just kidding.
that will be a blooper reel.
Yeah, just kidding, because I did paperwork for a lot of years, and I wanted to turn it over, and I want it off my desk as fast as it can get off my desk. And so that's where Hope steps in, is she does a lot of our TC work, our paperwork. And but you save a lot of your questions until, because you know how busy you can look at my schedule, and like she can look at my Google Calendar and see that every 20, 30 minutes to an hour, I've got something else going on. And so she tries her hardest, or you try
I do try not to bother you during the day if I can help it. So when you do get home, I'm like, yeah, I need this and this and this and this.
So she's got like a list of questions to ask me whenever I get home at 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever time it is. And I'm like, I'm done real estating for today. Like, I can't answer another question. And so...
yeah.
It's hard. Like,
it is hard.
It's a hard kind of...
I think that paired with coming off of the sermon series about your children and the short time that we have to invest in them, I think that, especially I can say for you are very intentional here recently about kind of flipping the script and turn, like last night. You watched 2 movies with the boys. In one night.
I can't tell you when I've watched a full movie in one sitting. Like, I just can't tell you. Normally, within the first 10 minutes, I'm asleep.
I mean,
no matter
even
where
really
we're at.
good movies.
Yeah, good movies. If it's at home or the movie theater or we're laying in bed or whatever, I'm asleep within 10 minutes of any movie. So I watched not 1 but 2 movies.
He's just really tried to kind of like change the narrative there. And that is one of the reasons why, like, I feel like we needed to talk about that today, is just those boundaries and why it's important to set them, because you do have such a short window with your children. You do have such a short window just in life in general, and ebbing and flowing, and you very much could be a workaholic.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So I told you like a few months ago, or a month or 2 ago, like, I'm so glad we're married. Remember? I was like, because you were actually at the beach. I'm like, I'm so glad we're married. And she's like, okay, me too. I'm glad we're married too. But so I was like, no, if we weren't married, if I didn't have you to balance me out, like, I think I would work 24/7. I think I would work around the clock.
Yeah.
If we weren't married.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have a family, I would truly get sucked into that workaholic.
Yes, because
I love what I do.
You do.
That's the other thing.
And when I take the boys and I go to the beach and like we're gone for a couple of days waiting on you to come up there, you get so much done in that time frame.
Yeah, so, in a matter of 3 days, I can get 2 weeks worth of work done.
Yes, and the joke here in the office, I'm trying to implement those too. The joke here in the office now is that if you ever come and visit us, like half of the office was nothing but desk, like Joe, the agent's desk, my desk, and I moved my desk last week or the week before to the whole other side of the office.
And we don't like it.
And they don't like it. But I have gotten so much done because I come here to get my work done because the boys aren't here. Typically, you're in and out. I can shut that door over there, and I've gotten so much done, and I like stay on top of things, and it's helping me when I go home at night to not have to ask you 50 million questions or do 50 million things, because I'm able to come to a place to shut things off and get it done.
We'll move your desk back over there.
No, I'm not. Listen, I will move it back. It will be like,
so anyway, let's get back to the lake thing. Like, yes, I think the whole podcast started out that we went to the lake.
Yes.
And like, I just needed some time off.
You did.
Like I did a few little things that came in Saturday. I remember that, throwing the laptop up on our bed, shot out a couple emails or whatever, but
we're going to segue this, but go ahead.
On Sunday, we were riding the boat, playing in the water, like having fun and all that. And actually, one of my kids was driving the boat, so I was kind of kicked back a little bit. And an agent texted me that had not even asked for a showing, had not shown the house or anything. So she texted me and she was wanting some information about a certain property we've got listed. And I said, hey, she had called me like 2 or 3 times. And
cell phone signal at the lake for us is not good.
It's not good. Like, you can answer the phone, but you're not going to be able to hear me, and you're not going to be able to hear whoever. However, we can get text. And so We were riding the boat. She had called me a couple of times. I didn't even answer because I just know that it was not going to be. It was going to be more confusing than it would be helpful. So didn't answer, and I get a text saying, "Hey, I need some information about 123 Main Street." And I'm like, "Okay, we're riding the boat. It's going to be a little while before I can get to it. Have you shown it?" Like I was asking those kind of questions. She's like, "No, not showing it yet. I'm just trying to get my buyer some information." I said, we're riding the boat. It'll be a couple hours before we come in. And she texted me back, "It must be nice." So I sat on that for like 3 or 4 minutes. And
I think we should segue that into the next podcast. What your response was.
no.
Yes. I think so.
No. You think so?
Yes. I do. I do, because it's really good. I know you've been waiting to tell that story.
So y'all have to wait until the very next one. Hope they're going to die between now and 2 more weeks. So, all right, so we're going to segue
into it.
into the next one.
Okay, don't segue into it. Whatever, Joe. Go ahead.
What do you want to do?
Go ahead.
Okay, so
What was the answer?
you have to give me warning before all that. So,
Go ahead. What was the answer?
anyways, she had called me a couple times and sent me a text. We were texting back and forth just briefly about 123 Main Street, and I said, "Hey, it's going to be a couple hours because we're out riding the boat, and she texted me back, "It must be nice."
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I sat on it for like 2 or 3 minutes. I try to be very diplomatic with my responses.
I would not have been diplomatic.
Most of the time. I try to be very
you're
diplomatic.
a really good agent.
Yeah, so I try to be very diplomatic. But anyways, I did wait 3 or 4 minutes and formed my words. And I did text her back, "Yes, it is nice. It's pretty nice," because I said, "We've had one heck of a week in real estate, like in a good way." And so, yeah, it is nice for me to be able to take off and not be tied to my phone and computer and laptop and having to get the information out the minute somebody asks for it, because, again, she hasn't shown it. She had no appointment to show it. It wasn't like she was going to show it in the next 15, 20 minutes anyway. So I feel like
it really didn't matter. The ultimate, like all of that, I understand what you're saying there, but it really didn't. None of that really mattered, except that she assumed. She made an assumption. It must be nice. You're at the lake, whatever, and you're like, "Let me tell you about my week. Let me tell you, yes, it is." Like I think you set a standard there for her to, number one, maybe think about that before she sends it again to another agent, because you don't know what someone else has been through, what they're going through, why they're doing what they're doing. And it also maybe gives her grace here in the next little bit in her own life to go, "Wait a minute, this individual is as busy as they are, and they were intentional about making that time with their family and taking that break." And that is important. You can't run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can't. I mean, you can, but...
And number 3,
and
it let her know I wasn't on her time schedule.
Well, there's that too.
And that's, I run into that. We run into that a lot. In fact, think of one right now that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
You just said it yesterday.
Yeah.
When we ask for something to be signed or reply on an email, we never hear it's crickets. We never hear back. But when this agent wants something, like, she's going to hound you to death until you get it. Every 10 minutes, you're getting an email or a text or a phone call. And I'm like, well, we sent you an email like 2 weeks ago, still waiting on a response.
Crickets.
From you. Yeah. So,
crickets.
Anyways, all that's good stuff.
Yes.
So, yes, trying to be more intentional with our kids. More coming up in the next episode on how we are intentional with our kids, or how we try to be more intentional with our kids.
Right.
And I just think it's something that a lot of families need to get back to. Is it's okay to work and focus on work and work hard, but then also when you do have some time to give back to your family, like, play hard.
Right.
Like, go and play hard.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do, is we try to we work and then we play hard.
Right.
So.
All right.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you want to talk about today.
Well, I have a lot more, but we'll talk about the next one.
So thank y'all for taking time out of your day to listen to the Gathering Place podcast.
Yes.
With me, I'm a real estate agent. My name is Joe Seaman. I'm a real estate agent in the Augusta, Georgia. They got me all messed up here.
We love you.
Where am I a real estate agent at?
In the CSRA, the Central Savannah River area, on the border of South Carolina and Georgia.
Right. We have no fun recording any of this stuff, but thank y'all for taking time to listen to us on the Gathering Place podcast.
Yes.
We will catch y'all on the next episode.